What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. As you may or may not know, the Street Fighter 6 demo is now available on everything. That includes PC and Xbox. So go ahead and give that a shot. It's a demo of the World Tour mode, which is Street Fighter 6's giant single player mode. Speaking of single player modes in fighting games, that's what I want to talk to you guys about today. Not only how hyped I am that Street Fighter, or rather Capcom, is realizing that single player modes are important for fighting games. They're realizing that fighting games are actually video games that should be fully fleshed out and accessible to everyone. Fighting game developers have been catering to the competitive scenes, which I get. I'm a part of the competitive scenes. I'm a competitive player. I go to CEO, I go to EVO, I do all that shit. We have been the focus of attention for fighting game developers for way too long, and it's gotten to the point where fighting games has stagnated as far as innovation in modes and features. If you're not in it to compete or play with your friends or any of that other stuff, fighting games weren't for you, man. You just couldn't sit down by yourself and just grind out a fighting game and doing fun things unless you were playing Mortal Kombat or Injustice. Every single fighting game that comes out since 2011, Mortal Kombat 9 has done the same thing, except Street Fighter 5 because they thought they can get away with not doing it. Every game comes out with an arcade mode, a survival mode, a cinematic story mode, which I quite frankly think are fucking trash, and online? Yeah, online modes. That's pretty much it, man. Let's talk about cinematic story modes real quick. So in 2011, Mortal Kombat 9 introduced the single player cinematic story mode, which is basically you have this giant overarching story in your game, like a big old fat ass arcade mode, but you play the cast. You see a story beat and they're like, all right, now you're playing this character and you're fighting this character. Cool. And then you beat the match, and then it's another story beat, and then you're this character and you're fighting this character. And I was like, all right, cool. And I'm playing, and I'm like, so this is this is it. The whole mode, nothing changes. And it was cool at the time, but I didn't think that every fucking fighting game was gonna just rip that shit off with no changes whatsoever. Since 2011, every cinematic story mode in every single fighting game has been the fucking same. And it's boring. It's fucking boring. If your fighting game wants to do a story mode, bro, I'm all for it. There's so many fighting games that have wonderful lore. Mortal Kombat, King of Fighters, sometimes Street Fighter. And I would love to play and see those stories build and flesh out and grow. But do it in an interesting way, man. And that leads us to where we are now, this generation. Tekken 8 hasn't really announced anything single player wise. There's no NRS game on the horizon. And Street Fighter 6, World Tour mode. They just released a fat ass trailer for World Tour mode and all the stuff you can do in that mode. And it looks absolutely godlike. And World Tour mode, and if you guys don't know this, World Tour mode was originally in Street Fighter Alpha 3 on their console versions, and this obviously is a much bigger expanded version of that, because obviously in PS1 you weren't walking around the city, you had to use one of the World Warriors, so there was much less customization going on. But in Street Fighter 6, there are so many things that you can do. First of all, there's Metro City. Metro City is awesome. It is a giant place where you can just wander around, challenge people on the streets, street fight, fucking street fight. And there's another city called Nashal, which kind of has like India vibes, which looks pretty dope. You can fight refrigerators and things like that, all kinds of goofy stuff, which is really cool. On top of all of that, you obviously, as you guys know, you create your own avatar, which I think is a fantastic idea, because not only does that help immerse you in World Tour mode, but it also opens up a giant world of customization. You saw how ham people went in Tekken 7 with the customization options that they had, Street Fighter 6 is gonna be on a whole nother level, bro. On top of being able to create the monstrosities that you can create. Another thing that is dope about World Tour mode and your custom character is that you talk to the World Warriors and they become your masters. You can learn moves from them and you can combine those movesets into your own custom Street Fighter character. What I wanna do, take that back. I wanna put a Sonic Boom, a Teleport, an SPD, and like a Flash Kick or a DP, something like that. Make a character with those 4 moves with like Dawson's normals. Bro, I'm fucking people up. But that's so cool, right? Like you can make your own character, your own movesets, and then on top of that, you can go into the battle hub and fight other people with the character that you created with your custom movesets. I feel like after this game comes out and shows all the other developers, hey, this is what single player content in fighting games needs to look like and what it needs to be, we're gonna see a giant shift in the way developers approach single player. Hopefully that means the end of those stupid cinematic story modes and the end of them just half-assing the single player experience in order to enhance the competitive player experience. But yeah, guys, that's my whole single player rant. I'm hoping that after Street Fighter 6 comes out, developers realize that we've been half-assing a large portion of our fighting games and ignoring a large portion of the community, because the community isn't just comprised of competitive players. It's comprised of every single solitary person who picks up that controller and plays that game. That's gonna do it for me. I appreciate you guys watching and hanging out, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.